Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to discuss ancient Rome, daily life in the empire. So, what was it like to live in Rome yourself? If you were a Roman citizen, what kind of things would you expect to see and to do? All right, so life in the empire. So, Rome was an empire made up of vastly different settings. Remember, if you were a Roman, you controlled Europe, North Africa, parts of Asia. So while the empire was vast, the heart of all was the city of Rome itself. Everybody wanted to go to Rome. Most residents of the city worked as merchants, craftsmen, artisans, or were involved in the administration of the very complex government. But one thing I want you to keep in mind is when we refer to the word Rome, we're not just talking about the city of Rome. The city of Rome is still a place today in Italy. The city of Rome was a place back then. It was the heart of the empire. So you have Rome the city and Rome the empire. And people would also say it was an idea as well, the idea of Rome. So life in the empire. The Roman Empire was one of the largest and most influential in ancient history, really in world history today. At one point, it controlled lands in Europe, North Africa, and Asia. In fact, many of the great cities of Europe were first established as Roman colonial outposts. A lot of the major cities in England, for example, were Roman cities first. London was a Roman outpost. You'll still find Roman baths and Roman ruins really all over Europe, especially in England. All right. So Rome was absolutely huge. And later on, it would grow and split. It gets very confusing, but we're going to focus on early Rome and what it was like just living in Rome briefly. So empire life outside the city. So you had the city of Rome, but what about outside? What about in a controlled territory, a colony, maybe another ancient village? Well, most early Romans worked in small plots of land. They were farmers. They were growing wheat, barley, fruits, beans, and vegetables. These were sold locally, traded locally, and often shipped back to the city of Rome to feed their massive population. They also raised livestock such as pigs, sheep, goats, and chickens, and they used oxen to pull their carts, as we see in the picture here. Members of the Roman family worked very hard, and they only had simple tools available and usually had to travel pretty far to get water, usually from a river or a community fountain or well. For a while, only landowners were able to join the army. So the army wasn't something people could just join to escape their lives. It was for the elite. This is because it was thought that they would fight harder if they were defending their own land. If I don't own land, why am I loyal to the city? Now, if I own land in the city, I want to make sure it's protected. That was kind of the idea there. Family and society. So, like a lot of ancient societies, we do have a male dominated social system. So, the head of the Roman family was the father. Although his power was limited by public opinion, so there were limits to what a father could do within the family. He had control over other members of the family and owned all the property. Roman women were expected to run the household and take care of the children. Women were, in fact, able to inherit property and they could run the family business, but that happened while their husbands were away. So, again, a very male dominated society, like a lot we've seen in ancient life. Roman women had little power outside the home and could not vote. That's nothing new in ancient history. As we know in the United States here, women couldn't vote until about 1920. So Rome is just kind of very normal for ancient life. Enjoying life in Rome. There was an amazing, a dazzling amount of leisure activity you could enjoy in Rome, especially if you lived in the city of Rome itself. A lot of the activities we're going to discuss were found in the Roman colonies as well. Often, when the Roman army would go somewhere, they would very quickly build things they were used to recreate that feeling of home. So Romans could take in a chariot race at the Circus Maximus. So think about like an ancient NASCAR. All right, they could visit one of the many outdoor theaters for plays and theater. They could relax at one of more than 100 public baths, or simply go to the Forum, famous Roman Forum, to eat, gossip, or watch the entertainers. Think about that as like kind of like being a mall in a way. Cooking and dining were often done outdoors and in public kitchens found outside these apartment complexes. And we do know there were many little fast food stalls and vendors for those quick to go meals. Now we're going to have a look here, a couple pictures here. Let's focus on the picture at the bottom right here. This is a recreation of the Circus Maximus. The Circus Maximus was one of several race courses found in the city of Rome. This was the largest one, 600-meter race course. It was used for chariot races, for festivals, and for gladiatorial battles. Over to the left here, we have a picture of a typical Roman bath. Now, this one I believe is in England. Of course, like I said, the Romans did occupy England. In fact, they established a city called Bath, not too far from London, built around their baths. These baths were a lot like the modern YMCA in a way. You would have multiple temperatured pools to go relax in, a hot pool, a cold pool. You could go and get a massage. You could go and work out. Maybe they have a little weight room. You could have a haircut while you were there, maybe enjoy a meal. So in a way, they were very, very similar to going to the YMCA for an afternoon. So that's what they say, a bath. I know most of us think of a bath as a small tub. These were actually giant pools, more of a swimming pool size. But of course, the peak, the top of Roman entertainment. If you lived in Rome, you wanted to go to the Colosseum and watch some crazy things happen there. The most famous leisure activities for Romans took place at the famous Roman Colosseum. It is still there. If you go visit Rome, I guarantee you're going to stop for a selfie right there outside the Colosseum. This venue was hosted for gladiatorial fights. So these gladiators would often fight to the death for the amusement of the crowd. They would have animal hunts there as well. When I say animal hunt, yes, gladiators would hunt animals, or often they would have animals attacking people. Kind of a strange form of entertainment as well. They even had mock naval battles. We have discovered there was a system built underneath the floor of the Colosseum. They could flood it, and they could put several ships inside, and they would have full-blown naval battles. Men would die, people would drown, and entertainment. You would go and sit there in the crowd and watch this happen. Pretty mind-blowing today. It had a retractable canopy as well. So we know stadiums nowadays will have opening roofs. Same thing here. Sailors were stationed at the Colosseum, and they could open and close a canopy. The canopy was made of sailcloth hoisted on ropes. So on sunny days, they would have shade inside the Colosseum, and on pleasant days, they could open it up and enjoy the fresh air. There were elevators built into the floor, so animals and people could be raised and lowered to the floor, as well as props for different plays. So really, if you think about a Colosseum, thousands of years old, it's a brilliant, brilliant feat of engineering. And if you were a Roman, that had to be really mind-blowing to see this kind of technology used purely for entertainment. And here we have a really amazing artist rendition, a rendering of what the Colosseum would have looked like. So we see on the left side here, more or less what the Colosseum appears to be today. And it is in a state of disrepair, as we'll say. But if you go visit today, that's what you're going to see. On the right side here is a recreation of Rome back then. A really beautiful Colosseum, and we'll learn more about that in a different lesson. But you do see here the very top has been closed by the sailor station there, so that the stadium will have some shade for the spectators inside. Again, for thousands of years ago, this is just really brilliant engineering. So to summarize it, summary, was life that different in Rome? Well, to us today, we're used to certain luxuries, but if you were a Roman, you lived in maybe the most advanced city at that time. So all in all, life in Rome would have offered many of the same pastimes that we enjoy today. All right, there was dining. You could eat at home or go to a restaurant or maybe get to-go food. There was shopping. You could go to vendors and markets and stalls and buy new clothing and jewels. And anything being brought to Rome on a Silk Road was available to you if you had the social class and, of course, the money. Entertainment. There were speeches. There were public musicians. There were plays. There was theater and drama. Remember, these guys borrowed a lot of things from ancient Greece. And of course, there were recreation. You could go to the Circus Maximus. You could go to the Colosseum. There was always something to see or do in Rome. They wanted to keep their people entertained. An entertained population is a happy population. And a happy population is not going to fight the government too much. And keep that in mind. Life in occupied territories would have also enjoyed many of these luxuries brought in by the Roman army. When the legions would go to places like Gaul or England, Britannia, they would build bathhouses, they would build small colosseums, they would build theaters. They wanted their people to have the same kind of lives as close as possible as they had enjoyed back in Rome. It also was a way to show the new people, hey, look what we offer you as new Roman citizens or as new Roman occupied citizens. While we do recognize many things they're familiar with, life in ancient Rome was still very hard for many. Don't forget, we had differences in social classes. We had slaves in Rome. Men were going to be treated higher than women and children. So for some, it was a wonderful life, but for many, they didn't enjoy the same things in Rome. So life was filled with many enjoyable activities for some, but not for all. Later, we're going to study the politics of Rome, what it was like to live in an occupied city of Rome, and a little more about the Colosseum and Roman entertainment. I hope you guys have enjoyed our little PowerPoint today. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask your teacher. Have a great day. Bye.